My goodness. Thank you so much for that warm and kind and generous introduction. You all know I majored in English and creative writing, so I write my own bios. So I have some shame in that, but I'm grateful for those kind words that have also aged me. I feel very, very old. But I'm grateful to be here, and I want to thank Robin and others from First Prepare for inviting me to be a part of this gathering on today. And I would like to share for a little bit some of the work that we've been doing with reparations that you might not be aware of. I wear a couple of different hats, and one of them is as one of the faith leaders in the community with a number of outstanding clergy persons. We are a part of an interfaith group that has really helped to move reparations in a positive way in the Evanston community. And I also serve with the NAACP, so I wear that hat as well. And what I'd like to do is offer a couple of different presentations over the next 15 minutes or so that will talk about the interfaith work that we have been doing both in Evanston and around the country around reparations and race. And then I want to talk a little bit about another independent organization that is called Reparations Stakeholders Authority of Evanston that was founded and is working in the community as well. So I'm going to go to the share screen and pull up a couple of pieces. The first thing I want to pull up is just a little bit of the kind of schedule that we've had for the last year or so, but I also want to share with you some of the congregations that have really been active in Evanston regarding reparations. And you can see the names. I'm not going to give them, but these are white congregations. We take for granted that that Black congregations are active, but these are the white congregations that have not only been active in terms of human resources, but they've been active in terms of capital resources as well. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So what have we been doing? And I think this is in large part due to the enormous popularity that Evanston Reparations has, and particularly Robin Ruth Simmons. I want you to know that most of the time when Robin is not able to accept the hundreds of invitations that she has to speak around the world and around the country, she will fork some of those invitations over to me. So I want you all to know that while she's speaking at the Vatican in Rome, I get to speak at a church in Dayton, Ohio. So all things considered, it's amazing, and we are spreading the message about what we're doing in the Evanston community. So just some of the quick things that we've been able to do. Last year around this time, we were on the tiny island of all places, Nantucket, outside of the mainland, Massachusetts. And we were invited to speak to a group of folks there about reparations at First Congregational Church, one of the oldest in the country. And then, as I mentioned, we went to Dayton, Ohio. I'm going to go through this very quickly just so that you can get a feel for where these things have transpired. I'm also had a chance to speak in Trenton, New Jersey, in Mercer County for a sorority event that they had. But I also wanted to share, as I did earlier, about the importance of the interfaith community for reparations wherever you are located. There is an organization in Evanston called ICO. It's Evanston Interfaith Clergy and Leaders. And this group is led by some dynamic clergy. Presently, Eileen Wiviat is the senior pastor of the Evanston Unitarian Church, and she is helping to lead that effort. A little over a year ago, that group got together and decided that they wanted to support reparations in Evanston. They heard about Reparations Stakeholders Authority of Evanston, which is a nonprofit organization that several people decided to create, a 501c3, because we felt that of all of the money that the city was going to be able to gather together for reparations, at some point it's going to run out. At some point, there may be a city council that decides we've done enough. But with this nonprofit community organization, we will be able to raise money into the foreseeable future for years and years to come. And so this group of clergy last summer gathered together, and in the center of town at a place called Fountain Square, they had an interfaith rally encouraging houses of worship to support the effort. And I want you to know that it was just absolutely outstanding. And by the time the new year rolled around, we had our interfaith Martin Luther King Jr. Service for the community, and that was on the third Sunday of this year. And there were 18 of these white houses of worship that gathered together, and they presented what they had raised in that time frame. I want you to get from June to January. It's not very long. They raised $942,000, and of that 942,000, 842,000 they designated for reparations work in the Evanston community, and the other 100,000 they dedicated and designated for the United Negro College Fund. So that was just an awesome thing. We went to Tampa, Florida, and we talked to a group of Presbyterian ministers. Also going on, we went to Palm Springs, California, and we talked to a group of clergy, having been invited there. Now, it's important for you to know that we're always invited. We don't press our way, but there is a reparations program going on in Palm Springs under the umbrella of Section 14 survivors. You may know about that group. And so we were invited out to try to bring interfaith clergy together. And over the weekend, we spoke in several different places that culminated in a service on Saturday night with the United Methodist congregation, and hundreds of people showed up, and about 50 clergy persons came together. So it's important for you to know that they did not have an interfaith clergy coalition, but by the time that we left there, they were forming an interfaith clergy coalition to support the Section 14 Survivors Reparations program. We also had a chance to go to Roanoke, Virginia. I heard somebody on the line earlier. We were invited by a group of interfaith clergy from Roanoke to come down for a weekend, and they put together an actual reparations weekend program at Roanoke College, which is in the neighboring town of Salem. So we were the keynote and led a couple of panel discussions as well. And we talked about the importance of interfaith representation in reparation programs that are local. And that was a really, really exciting and powerful gathering. And I understand that they are pressing and moving forward. I want you to understand a difference between what they're trying to do in Roanoke from most local reparations initiatives. The interfaith group in Roanoke is not particularly interested in whether or not the city wants to support their reparations movement. They are trying to do the reparations movement themselves with houses of worship, not unlike what we were able to accomplish in the Evanston community with the Evanston interfaith clergy and leaders. So we've also had a chance to speak to a group of clergy from Philadelphia that's working on a reparations movement with the city. We talked to a group of folks from Oakland County, which is outside of the city of Detroit, that's talking about reparations as well. And in addition, we've gone to a lot of these meetings again that Robin is not able to make. One of them was a wonderful Decolonizing Wealth Project meeting that took place in Atlanta, Georgia, just a couple of months ago in June, called A Light, a Line, and a Rise. Absolutely an outstanding gathering. And recently, we also came back from Boston, Massachusetts, where we participated in the 114th annual NAACP conference, talking about reparations in Evanston with both of those groups. I want to also say that the American Baptist churches saw the work that we were doing in Evanston, and along with another minister, a white minister, Michael Wolf, from a non-denominational church, we were named the Edwin Dahlberg Peace and Justice Award awardees for race and reparations involvement in Evanston. They do that every year. It started in 1964, and the first recipient was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we have a couple of upcoming activities that are going on as well, and I'll stop there. And I'm going to ask for any Q&A for the Interfaith Clergy Group before we move on to talk for just a few minutes about Reparations Stakeholders Authority of Evanston. I know I tried to cover a lot. We're grateful to have Eileen with us. Again, Eileen is the pastor of the Evanston Unitarian Church, and we're also grateful to have Matt Feldman here. Matt is with Evanston Community Foundation, but is also a wonderful member of Beth Emmet, the Free Synagogue. And I also see Stephen Hevelin, who is here, and I think Stephen is a member of Lake Street Church. So we've got some good folks who are here. I hope I covered it the right way. Any